Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we'll be learning how to make this beautiful sleeve with a finger loop. Yes, so this is good for a wedding dress or any dress at all. It's really beautiful. I got this beaded fabric in the market and I decided to try this out. But first we're going to be drafting this on a pattern paper before we take it down to cut out on the fabric. So I'm going to be drawing out here the starting line. I'll go ahead and mark 4 inches downwards from this line, and that will be the cap of the sleeve. I'll go ahead and rule it out so that it's more visible. Then I'll also go ahead to measure right from the top to the elbow line. So mine is 13 inches. I'll go ahead and mark that out as well. Then I can go ahead and take the full length of the sleeve. I'm working with length of 25 inches because I need it really long. So I'll be marking 25 inches. I'm going to bring in my hand and show you how I got the extension from where the sleeve is going to end. So you can see right at where I have 25 inches, I went ahead to mark 3 inches downwards. So I think for every person, 3 inches is fine after your initial sleeve length. So I'll go ahead and roll this out. So what I'm doing right here is putting a name to each and every one of these lines. So once I'm done with that, I'll go to the cap length. That's where we marked 4 inches downwards. And I'm marking the measurement I have around that side. And I have 14.5. So I'm marking 14.5 right there, and I'm connecting this just as you're seeing. So on that line, I'm going to divide what I have there into 2 and put a mark at the middle. Right at this midpoint, I'm going to go up by half an inch and come down by half of an inch upwards and half of an inch downwards. So I'm connecting the 3 lines together, as you can see. So I'm going to connect right from the mid part of this paper, just as you're seeing me doing. You can use your free hand. Just watch as I am doing it. I'm sure that you will get it. So I'm connecting one part to the 0.5 inch downwards, and I'll connect the other one to the 0.5 inch upward. The 0.5 inch upward will represent the back, while the 0.5 inch downwards will represent the front. Anyways, let's move on. So I'll go ahead and take a measurement of my elbow area, and I have about 11 inches. I'll go ahead and divide that into 2, and then I'll also go down to the hem of the sleeve. That's after connecting it, as you're seeing me doing here. So you can either use the straight part of your ruler or use the curved part. It all depends on what you want, how fitted you want it to be. So right here I'm taking the measurement of the length of the sleeve, the circumference, but make sure that you extend it to the end of your fingers, just as you're seeing me doing, so that you'll be able to enter and come out freely. So whatever you have, divide it by 2, just as I'm doing right here. So I'll go ahead and connect right from the elbow region to the length of the sleeve. And for this extension, I'll go ahead and connect right in a V shape. At this point, you can either go ahead and cut this if this is the shape that you want, but I really don't want it the V. I want it a bit curved. So I'm going to be using this part of my ruler to get the exact curve that I want. Now that I've gotten the curve that I want, I'll go ahead and cut this out. So all I'm doing here is cutting out the points that we already made earlier. So I forgot to state this at the beginning of the video. The paper right here is not unfold. Actually, the best way to cut this kind of sleeve is to have the paper unfold, so that when you open it up, you'll be able to get the side for the front and the side for the back. So if you'll be trying this out, make sure that you have your paper unfold. So I went ahead to use the pattern paper to cut out on the main fabric, and here it is. And if you watch the pattern paper closely, you realize that I've already gone ahead to cut out the back. Yes, what you have here is just the curve for the front. That is why it's important that you have your paper unfold, so that one side will carry the curve for the front and the other side would have the curve for the back. Anyways, let's move on to the real essence of this this video. So I'm going ahead to indicate the midpoint of this sleeve, and I'm making sure that I have the armhole measurement that I need. So after that is done, I'll go in and bring a bias tape. So I'm going to be using a bias tape for this. I'll go ahead and use the bias tape to tone these edges. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking out the beads. Yes, that's one problem with working with beaded fabric. So I'm taking it off so that it doesn't break my needle. So now I can go ahead and pin this bias tape on this fabric. So once I'm done with this, I'll take it to the sewing table to sew it down. Kindly note that when you get to the mid part, you have to have a little fold. I don't know if you would understand. You have to raise your machine needle up so that you can have that, retain that shape. Anyways, I've gone ahead to sew it on using the bias just so that you can see. And once this is done, I'll go ahead and top stitch right on the bias tape. Note, I'm top stitching on the bias tape. After this is done, I can now go ahead and finish this up, just as you are seeing me illustrating here. It is actually okay if you have this fold. You see that fold that I did? I'm going to repeat this part again so that you see what I'm talking about. This fold actually indicates that you have that shape at the end of it all. I hope you all understand this. So just go ahead and run a stitch to be able to hold that down, so you can see what it will look like when you're done stitching that part down. So right here I'm done stitching, and this is what it looks like. It is all neat. I wish you could see the stitches clearly, but because we have white on white, it's really hard. Anyways, after this is done, you can now go ahead to close it up on the sides using the same allowance added to the cutting of this fabric. But before we do that, I'd like to show you how I achieved the loop, the finger loop. So right here, go ahead and cut a small piece of your fabric and fold just like you're folding bias. You know how bias tape usually comes, and then go ahead and attach it to the wrong side. Yes, on the wrong side of your fabric. But before you do that, make sure that it's able to pass through your finger so that you don't have it shorter than it's supposed to be. So once you've made sure of this, you go ahead and pin it down just as you're seeing me doing here, and you can take it to the sewing machine to stitch it down as well. I'm also trying to see if it will pass through my finger, and it did. So at this point, I've gone ahead to stitch it down on the side, and I can now turn it inside out so you see what it looks like. If you take note, I've not attached the finger loop here. I just wanted to show you this first. So now, and I decided to just use a bias. So you can either use the fabric that you're working with, or you can also use a bias tape, the regular bias tape. Just fold it the way it is, and then you can attach it. So tell me which one you think is better, with the bias tape or with the actual fabric. I'll be waiting in the comment section. So at the beginning of this video, I used the fabric for the loop, while here I use the bias tape. And if you saw this video to this point, I want to say thank you. If this is your first time here, do well to subscribe to this channel. And if you found this video useful, do not forget to click on the like button, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.